Good morning from what's about to become a snowy Iowa. Okay, we've already got some on the ground. We're going to get some more. Not much, but some more. So this is Erica of AriBo Arts, and this is Battmaking with AriBo Arts. So I'm in the Wool and Fiber Arts community group on Facebook. Later this will be downloaded and posted on my YouTube channel. So hello, whichever place you're watching me. So my gooseneck's being a little wonky today, but I should be able to set you up no problem over Sebastian. Right. So bat we're making today, we're going to keep using some of this Coopworth bamboo called Aurora Borealis. To that I'm going to add some Tussa silk in this blue color. I think, let me just double check it. It's pretty well dyed. It's a sort of sometimes they call it honey tussa. And so tussa silk is not as soft as the mulberry silk. And this person I get it from, sometimes the dye doesn't go all the way through. So sometimes I'll get a little bit of tan, which is the base color. Also going to add some of this fun mixture. Look at that. This is 55% merino, 30% mulberry silk, and 15% sari silk. You can see like the sari silk like with the red right there. Okay. And then I just thought, why not? Let's throw on some Firestar as well. Okay, it's in a purple. I'm assuming, well, hang on, let me just make sure that's Firestar. It was in the Firestar bin. I just want to make sure it's Firestar. Yes, it is Firestar. Okay, so that's the plan. Let me get you set up here. Sebastian, good boy. Still haven't done Sebastian's spa day. I should do that soon. It's been January. We're in January, aren't we? January is not a good month for me. It's just, historically, some bad stuff has happened. It's the month, different years, but the month in which both Ari and Bo, the two cats my business is named after, passed away. My mother also passed away in in January, many years ago, but still makes it hard. And I just, bad season, I just want to hibernate. I've sort of given up on being incredibly productive. I just sort of be realistic, use it as some hibernation downtime. So there was some VM in there that I was picking out. Okay, let's put this on first. It doesn't really matter. So this is a blended product that I got from a vendor in Michigan. And I think it's a blend she orders. So you could just put it on the feed tray, but I like to paint it on. Gives you some nice texture with the sari silk in there. Sebastian's squeaking because he needs his spa day. This is the Tussa silk. Take that part off there. When I use a color like the base color here, that sort of teal, it's always kind of nice to have so it's, in this case, it's more of a blue teal. So having that other blue there gives you some additional depth. Okay, so there's not a ton of this Firestar. And like Angelina, Firestar, you want to use a lighter hand. I mean, you can spin this by itself. Good morning to whoever's tuning in. So far, I can't see any comments. So just letting you know. I realize some of you might just be sneaking a watch at work as well. So. Yeah, that works. I like that purple. Just a little depth. Oh, there's a little bit more. Got stuck in my fingers. And I'm going to press it in. Some of those silks particularly, they just sort of ride on top unless you press them down in between the times, or teeth. So yeah, so my goal today is mainly to make bats for this weekend. Waffle sale is this weekend. I'm will be on Saturday at 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern. Everything in Waffle is set up by Eastern because our founder lives in Michigan. Here I go do a festival in Michigan. I have to remember I'm going to lose an hour. On my way there. Helps sometimes if you have a little bit of tension on this. I have other things I should do today. It's January. Gotta do some tax stuff. But I think these are one state I don't have to do it till February. I actually did a little tutorial yesterday. Because I always, because when you get around to doing actually, the federal tax things, I'm taking that red out there because that is like a huge piece. Because you only do the tax stuff once a year, and I do my own. And so there's a bookkeeping person who does these tutorials. So I tuned in yesterday to go over the kinds of stuff I have to add, record, and how they go on the forms and things like that. Just as a refresher. I also have some applications that I need to do. And then I have a couple of shows that I'm accepted into, but I have to still send some things like, one, I have to update my social media pictures. I mean, she could use my old ones, but she's got some really old ones of mine. I'm like, I don't want those anymore. Let's get something new. And then I have another one where they're doing a weekly sort of meet the maker vendor post. And so I have to write up what I want them to post and send the photo and all of that. And then, of course, distracted myself because my focus has not been great this month. Because my plan had been when the new year came, I was going to do things like I was going to deep clean the fridge and deep clean the kitchen, and none of that happened. So there is another piece of red. I think I'm just going to leave that though. So I started, I think on Sunday. I was supposed to do a demo on my own page, and I didn't because I was like right in the middle of, I had a kitchen counter, which I don't have a lot of kitchen counters, that had sort of become, a doom pile type thing. So I cleared everything off, and I know this about myself. I did not clear out the entire kitchen. Because I knew what would happen would be is I would start on it and then I'd get distracted and then stuff would be all over the place and not done. So I just picked a section, cleared it off, went through stuff, mainly the spices and the spice rack, because I've got some very old spices that probably need to be replaced. Because I'm finally cooking more. I made on Monday. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, Monday. I was supposed to do it on Sunday, but the kitchen stuff took too long. Trying to make every Sunday or Monday or Tuesday if I'm traveling. because often there's show on the weekends. Make like a curry or a dal, or I don't remember the Indian word for it, but it's a dish where it's like dal, but there's also rice in it. And I made one of those. It begins with a K. It's got a D in it, but I don't know what the word. It's not a word I've heard very often, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can remember how to spell it either. And it's really good. Sometimes I make them with veggies in it, and this one just was mung beans, which I usually soak quite a bit. Easier to digest later. So I'd been soaking the mung beans for like a day, and I was like, I think I'd put them in the water Saturday night. So I was going to cook them sometime on Sunday. And so Sunday, as I'm cleaning up, I find this bag that's just the bottom part with a twist tie on it, filled with black beans. Because I filled a container with some dried black beans, and they didn't all fit, so there was just like this little bit left. So I took them and added them to the mung beans, and sort of let them sit overnight. And so Monday when I cooked them, when I first pulled the bowl out, the water was black. The black beans had like stained the water black, and had made the mung beans a little gray. Because there are people, it's fugitive, but there are people who do die with black beans. And so I cooked it up, and then I put 2 brown rice in that. So we didn't have any extra veggies in there. I didn't even do, I had a little, as I was cleaning up the spice rack, I found the dried onion things, which I think I mainly had for camping. And so I put those in there because I was like, I don't feel like cutting up onions. So I made this big, huge bowl of it. And so I'll be eating, I had it for 2 meals yesterday. I'll be eating it, let's do this next, for several days. You see a little bit here how it's paler there. That's what the dye didn't go all the way through. So I finished the main counter, which includes also the spice rack. Actually, my spice rack is, those raised platforms that sort of are supposed to go behind your sink, so you can put like dish soap on it and stuff like that. I've got a pretty long one. Might be 2 feet. I'm not sure. And I actually have it on the back of the counter, and that's my spice rack. Because I don't have a lot of cabinet space, and I can just alphabetize. Except now, they used to be all alphabetized, and then I had like 3 rows, and everything fell over. So now I have tall stuff in the back, alphabetized, and then front short stuff alphabetized. So like all the short stuff fits up there. All the tall stuff only goes to M, mustard seed, and then everything else is underneath. And then underneath I also have my salt collection. I got like smoked salt, I got the pink Himalayan salt, I got the black salt, I got your basic kosher salt, I got Welsh sea salt, I got Celtic sea salt, I like different salts. I've got my pepper grinder there. I almost never use pepper. I have an intolerance for it, so. And that's also where I've got my peanut butter, because I use that like every morning, so it's just easier to have it out. And then also up on where I have all the tall stuff and then the short stuff on the top shelf there. Also have all my tea strainers, so they're easily accessible for me as well. So my goal the rest of this week is I'm just sort of checking the thickness there. It's a little thicker in the middle. Making sure there's no big red pieces. It's pretty colors though, isn't it? I'm going to do the other side of the sink. Just like the dish drainer. It's not very big. It's like dish drainer and some silverware stands. And at some point, I need to get in the cupboards, and because normally I used to do it like, you know, sort of like when it turns to spring, you go through the cupboards and you see what's, you know, what's expired and all that. Well, you know, when it turns to spring, it's show season has started up again, and so I never get to it. So I need to go through, and also like I'm running out of space in certain cupboards, so things aren't going where they're supposed to go. All my cans of beans are supposed to all go together, but I got beans in like 3 different places. So I really need to go through and take care of that. And at some point I will get to the fridge. I spilled something the other day. Actually, the other day I had a bag of cranberries that I didn't realize was open. And of course, cranberries are round and they roll once they fall out and they go every which way. I'm going to make myself a treat of chocolate-covered cranberries. They're really good, both with the milk chocolate and the white vanilla chocolate. And they're just raw. They just, you know, you give them a good wash. And then you make sure they're dry. Because if they're not dry, the coating's not going to stick. But I can do like, you know, one little cube and make myself just a little batch without like eating a huge amount. Definitely need some over here. So there's the skylight is right above me, and not only is it hipped, so it's like this, but it's also slanted on the ends too. But it's also, when I've been up there, it comes up to, the glass starts at about my knee. So there's some flat framing there. I think it got, you know, because there's heat coming up from my condo. It sounds like a bunch of snow just sort of like slid down. If anybody has any name suggestions for this one, please pop your suggestions in the comments. I've got enough of that purple. I'm going to make a second one of these because this may be our last layer. Starting to get a little transfer over here. I can see there's a few spots here that are getting full. I mean, it might not be a huge one. That's not what I want. This. I may also, because the snow's supposed to start. Well, there were some flurries earlier. Let's see now. There's some groceries I need. I should probably just go out and get them now. We don't have to go out again later. I think it's supposed to snow all afternoon. But I don't know, like the little graph on the weather thing. They're pretty short, like when they give the intensity. It's not that tall. It's pretty short. So I can't tell, is it like going to be flurries? Is it going to be like it doesn't quite hit the ground? Oops. I was pressing it a little hard. Yeah, I've definitely got some transfer over here. So this will be our last layer. Oh yeah, it definitely needs some cleaning. Making a weird noise over here. Let me get a spa day without it being a public event. Since I gotta make a bunch for. Okay, he's making a noise. Alright, let's just do our last bit and then we will be done. Probably have to loosen them up and either vacuum or use my compressed air. Okay, that is done. Grab a piece of paper. Got a bigger one since we're going to do two. Okay, then we're going to take them off. Or take it off. Not sure how heavy this is. The coupe board really has a lot of crimp to it. Go. I'm going to press this down on the left-hand side. I think some of this is going to get grabbed. I lick her in as it goes past it again. Knitting needle. Very busy in the business downstairs. I can hear them all chatting. So I can't figure out if it's customers or they have no customers, so they're all chatting with one another. Okay. Oh, yep, it definitely combed a bit there. Okay, let's do a layout so you can see what it looks like. Ooh, I like this. That's fun. Look how thick it is. Very, very thick. So if you have a name suggestion, please pop it in the comments. I'm going to get the scale out. So if you have a guess on the weight, please pop it in the comments. Person who gets closest wins trophy emojis. Tear that out. Step off camera for a second to roll this up. After I do the fluff, fold, and roll, there's still a little bit of VM in here. I can feel it. I'll take photos and put it up in the group. Really floppy. Stay over there. Do this without flopping over. Okay, 2.43 ounces. 2.4. Oh no, 4. Sorry, it was 36. Means I round to 4. Okay. Yeah. So, thank you very much for tuning in. As I said, I'll put the photos up later. If you're on YouTube, I guess you got to come to my page to figure out what they look like, what it looks like. Otherwise, have a great day. Stay warm, particularly if you're in the U.S. and the southeast area, because you guys got weather coming. So we've got negative. I think the warning's already gone out for Friday. It's supposed to be negative 40 wind chill. Yeah. And I think unfortunately wind from the north. I'll see what I can do. I got a draft somewhere. I may spend Friday on my couch under the duvet. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you around on social media.